And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On this episode, it's going to be a fun one. One of the things I've been wanting to do on this channel more than anything else is I wanted to highlight the people in this hobby who I think are real, true net positives and bring a different point of view to this hobby and bring just an awesome personality. And there's nobody in this hobby that I've met recently that checks those boxes more than the other person on this screen. Mr. Beersky collects. Beerski, dude. First of all, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I had so much fun getting to know you down in Charlotte Collecticon. You are an absolutely awesome dude. But just for anybody out there who maybe doesn't know you or this is the first time they've ever seen you on a screen, let everybody know a little bit about your backstory in the hobby. Who are you as a person, stuff like that.
All right, right on. I'm Beerski. Nice meeting all of you. Started in a hobby as a kid. Got my first Game Boy Color. I was, 10 years old. It was a kiwi colored Game Boy Color. I got Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red.
Oh, yeah.
Same day, played Blue, started with Squirtle. That was just my guy. Always growing up, I love Squirtle. I love that line. Played that a lot, got into the cards. Played more of the game than the cards, but did have a pretty good binder as a kid. Collected from base set, just unlimited. I didn't have any Shadowless or first edition or anything like that. Collected through Fossil and Jungle, and then kind of fell out of it a little bit, like most people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a Team Rocket, a little tiny bit I touched, but nothing crazy. Fast forward to 2020, just like everyone else, I was sitting in my house and my mother texted me and said, "Do you still have your Pokemon cards?" And I said, "Yes, I still have my Pokemon cards." She goes, "Well, they're going for a lot of money right now." So I started doing a little research. And obviously the whole Logan Paul thing was going bananas at that time.
So your mom got you back into Pokemon?
My mom got me back into Pokemon, right? So and it was an awesome shout out to my mom. You're the best. Thank you so much for getting me back into this, because this ride has been wild so far. Got back into it. Vivid Voltage, just like everyone else in 2020. Got a couple booster boxes. Found some ETVs at Target and stuff. I was very new into everything. Bought my first graded cards. At that time, I was going after the banned Japanese artwork. That was my story going up. Then I kind of fell out of it again for a little bit. I was just buying like one-off graded cards here and there. And then I really got back into it like hardcore last year around this time. Actually, I bought my buddy a graded coin slab for his birthday on this date a year ago. And then that got me back rolling into start hunting down stuff. I started subscribing to channels. Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles was one of the first one. Mertz actually really made me want to go to a Collecticon because of the video he put out saying how inclusive everyone was and how willing everyone was to meet up and like be friendly and fun and like inviting into the hobby. So just started down that rabbit hole and here I am now.
Dude, I love people's stories because I think everybody's stories, they're all kind of the same. Like you said, like most of us have the same timeline. We were there for that original base set Jungle Fossil. And then, you just kind of grow up, you grow out of Pokemon, right? Like I have had people on this channel that stuck through Pokemon in 2009 when they were in high school and stuff. And all these people, they're not the norm. Those guys are the outliers. And the people that I brought on were like, oh yeah, I owned Illustrator Pikachu's and all this crazy stuff because they stuck around. But no, it's wild. And one of the things I found really fascinating about you when I met you in person was the fact that not only did you get in relatively recently, but like you've done like a little bit of a light speed type path. Like I know you vended the last Collecticon in Charlotte. You got super lucky. You had like a decent buyout come through. And I think I saw you like midday Saturday, maybe late day Saturday. I was like, how's everything going for you? And you're like, yeah, I've already sold everything pretty much. Do you want to tell us a little bit about like just your Collecticon experience? And I guess first, I do want to hear just like your whole Collecticon experience when you got there. I know you were one of the people that went out to that dinner with us. We had a ton of fun that first. It was super
great.
Late, but I got in super late too. So
yeah, so I told my wife about this crazy thing called Collecticon, where I was gonna go buy and sell Pokemon cards in Charlotte in February. She said go for it. So I booked an Airbnb and I got myself into the Collecticon Discord, got a table, and I drove down. It was an 8.5 hour ride from where I'm at in New Jersey. It was Blue Ridge Mountains the whole way. It was just a beautiful ride down. No traffic. I didn't sit in traffic
Oh,
for
you're
1
lucky.
second. It was perfect. I left at, I think, 5:30 in the morning. I pulled out of my driveway. Got down there, had a cool little Airbnb on the upper side. It was probably like a 5-minute walk from the Capitol Grill where we ended up the last night. I picked Dan up from the airport, Catch 'em All Collectibles.
Was this the first time you've met him, or
That
are
was the
you
first. That was the first time I met him. So that was Thursday. Thursday later, I picked him up, dropped him off at the Omni, which was the hotel of choice for Collecticon, and then yeah, we went out to dinner. Dude,
that was
that
the first
dinner.
time I met you too?
Yeah,
Like,
that was the first time I met anyone. So
dude,
that was
it's so weird because you're a big dude. Like walking in through like all these collecticons, everybody thinks like Pokemon are just like little nerds. Like I know you're a steel worker, you're a big dude. So
yeah,
as I stand there, I'm not like, I don't think I'm a short person. I'm 5'10, like I'm very average height,
yeah,
but like standing around everybody, it's like 6'2, 6'3. Dan is 7'8, and then just
yeah.
everybody else in between. It's just wild. And then like all these guys in Pokemon are super tall. Even like Charlie is huge.
Yeah,
Like he's a super
there
tall
was
dude.
a very tall group of people. That what the restaurant was called Duckworth's, I think. That place was freaking wild, man.
Yeah.
The story you telling about her locker just going around throwing $100 bills to get us down there in that spot was it, and we lived that. That was insane. So,
Yeah.
that dinner was great. It was great meeting all of you. And then we went out that night, and that was one of the more fun nights I've had out drinking in a long time. Like that was just a cool time sitting out there having a few beers, and we weren't necessarily talking Pokemon. It was just life stuff. It was just fun, connecting in that kind of way, like learning like about you guys that way. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Day two, a little hungover in the morning. I picked up a couple more people, Sterling and Hoot Hoot. Brought them back to their Airbnb and hotels, and then kind of hung around Friday for the most part around the Airbnb, and then went out with you guys. We went to the public house place.
Oh yeah, that was
Met up
fun.
there.
There was a
That was
lot of
fun.
people there.
There was a lot of people there. We definitely were 20 deep at one
Yeah.
point. Drank a lot of triple IPAs that night, PK. a lot of triple IPAs that night. There was a good one on tap. I kind of did the old Irish goodbye and snuck out of there around 1:00.
That's the only way you could do that.
That's the
kind of
only
stuff,
way. Yeah.
Too many people to say bye to.
Yeah, man. Went to sleep, woke up. I have felt better on Saturdays before than that. And yeah, we vended, and vending was great. Like it was definitely an experience. That was my first time ever vending any event.
So can I ask you what type of inventory did you bring? Because you mentioned like you do have a little bit of a truncated timeline in this hobby. So to acquire all those slabs in order just to have the quantity to vend, was it any sealed product or was it just slabs? And how were you sourcing these? Were you just doing the eBay? Were you doing the graded play yourself? Were you buying already graded?
Oh no, it was all graded plays myself. I brought a sealed booster box, just one Silver Tempest, a couple of ETBs, Pokemon Center, Crown Zenith ETBs, and I had a binder of singles, and then I brought about 120 to 130 slabs with me. They all got bought.
That's awesome.
It was wild. Yeah. So like we were further in the back. We were part of the Power L. I don't know if everyone knows about the Power L. We were by Mason Cardinal Gaming and Dan and Ray. And that was just our part of the section. You were with Nick over by Chumley. So you weren't part of the Power L, but you still did well to those old maids.
I was kind of, believe it or not, I feel like I was in a dead zone because what you guys had going for you were near the bathroom. So
and the concession stands.
Yeah. So everyone eventually makes their way to the bathroom. And then when they get out of the bathroom, you're usually like,
oh, we were right there.
You're ready to go shopping again. And then you're
Yep.
just bam, the first table people would hit.
So I sold a couple slabs individually. I was selling a couple singles. I had packs of Silver Tempest as well. Got them from that GameStop Build and Battle fiasco they had where they're selling them for $19.98 or whatever it was. So I was just going through them.
Those were awesome. That was an awesome deal too.
That was an awesome deal. That was a great deal. I got a
Do you
lot of
follow
those.
Pokemon TCG drops on Twitter?
I do.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you know, I've had him on my channel before. He's a great dude. He's just all around solid dude.
Well, he gets that stuff out there because I wouldn't have gotten any of this stuff today without that
Yeah.
specifically.
Oh, and anybody who's wanting to know, we will be talking about the Van Gogh
Oh,
promos. Don't you worry. We got a bunch of
it's
we got
Van
a
Gogh
bunch of
time.
hats
I'll put my
ready.
Van Gogh hat on, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So singles were moving better than the slabs. The slabs were going, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then I got my first buyout. These two gentlemen came around. They were pulling like a cart with just crates on top of it, yellow top crates, pulling out Zion cases to fill up with everything they were buying. They bought the first case out, and that was filled with. So back to your point about what I brought. I had a Unag of a Pikachu in there. I had some of V-Star Universe Japanese cards in there. I really like the character rares. I brought a couple of them: Snorlax, Gengar.
So a lot of ultra modern then.
Ultra modern, yeah. Sleepy Mew.
That stuff is so liquid though. It moves, man.
And it wasn't moving individually, but when they were coming and buying in bulk, because it was just, they were starting up a Whatnot stream themselves. They were trying to get inventory. It was mostly ultra modern. I had some older slabs. I had a few of the band artwork slabs still. I had some Harry Potter and Dragon Ball Z as well. People like to see it, but no one wanted to buy it. So it was mostly ultra modern. I had some stuff from like Eevee Heroes, Japanese, some more English cards, just like whatever I open up for the most part. And then I sourced a lot of stuff, some Charizards, Radiant Charizards and stuff like that.
So real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Son of a Mewtwo. Son of a Mewtwo, I appreciate the super chat. But so you keep mentioning you have a lot of like V-Star Universe. You said Eevee Hero, so you were dabbling a lot, I'm guessing, in Japanese too. So you're not just are you an English collector, or are you just mainly sticking to kind of Japanese?
A little bit of both. I obviously Japanese print quality was a lot better than English. This past couple sets, it's not been the case, but I definitely enjoy the Japanese a little bit more. I don't know, the clarity of the cards. I feel like the cards are just higher quality. It's a nicer product. It's just paying what you got to pay for it. I had a lot of 151 too. I brought with me Japanese 151. I got for a decent price.
I got a Japanese 151 booster box that Rusty gave me. I still haven't opened it yet. I don't know how to open. I want to open it on a stream, but I just haven't got around.
Got to do it. And that might be a happy hour night open.
Oh, definitely. So I don't know what you're doing after. I know you mentioned that you have a decent amount of time. I was thinking after this live's over, we could jump into the rattle. I mean, we're going to be going for a little while, guys. Yeah. But after this is over, if you're up to it, hopping into the rattle happy hour chat and just bullshitting with some of the guys for a little bit.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Maybe we could do some D-Gen stuff. We could open up some.
I'll rip a cheers. I'll rip an $80 Scarlet and Violet booster box. It's so ridiculous they dropped that far, man.
Isn't it crazy what modern product is doing? Like you
crazy
coming out of the crazy hype that what it seemed like every single Sword and Shield product, like especially at the end, when they all started stacking up and starting pretty much. I mean, really, Sword and Shield, you think about it, really starts at Battle Styles. I get it. Battle Styles had its crash, but that initial release, just the hype after every set, Battle Styles, Chill and Rain, until Evolving Skies, and Evolving Skies went crazy.
Those alt arts carried those sets, man. Yeah, big time.
And Brilliant Stars and Astral Radiance and Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, and there's just so many like powerful sets there. I want to ask you, because this is something I've mentioned on a lot of my lives, and do you think we were living in the golden age? And I say it almost in a bad way. Was it the golden age? Meaning, are we going to look back on this timeline and say, this was the best? This was the golden age of Pokemon. And we'll always kind of look back at it kind of in a way, like in a sad way. Like when you're living in the moment, sometimes you don't know you're in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Until the future goes by and you're like, you know what? I wish I like reflected more during that period.
Yeah, like you wish you knew you were living in the good old days when you were living it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly. So for me, I feel like because I got in around this time, it'll always have like that special feel to me. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be the golden age. I mean, you saw what happened today.
Oh, today was
Like, so, and that's coming a week after Pokemon, the classic collection dropped on Pokemon Center stuff, and that hasn't even been talked about because this just took over. So if Pokemon keep doing stuff like this, I don't think the golden age has come yet.
I hope not.
You may still see it. I mean, because they had how many promos and stuff. They didn't expect this to happen like this, and it's gone, like gone, wiped out.
Did they though? That's a conspiracy.
Oh yeah, it might be a conspiracy. Like, I don't know numbers. I wasn't reading the rumors. I heard from 50,000 printed to 5 million printed. You don't know what it really is, but for something like that to be sold out before Pokemon Center even put it on their website, people were just finding the SKUs and people were buying it out. That's some wild stuff.
That's how I was doing it. And so
that's how I did it.
Did you end up getting any promos? And if so, how did you do it? What did you buy?
So I was sitting in, I got rained out of work today. So I came home, took my car to get an oil change, and I was sitting in line and all this stuff started dinging on my phone. So I'm scrambling, trying to get stuff. My payment's not going through, sold out. I finally got 2 of the Charizard and Munchlax puzzles. So okay. I did get my 2 cards. Hopefully they're nice because they're going to get sent right out. If they're gradable, they're going ASAP. I want them out of my hands. I don't want to hold on, and I'll buy them when they tank later in the year, whatever happens, because it's inevitable. But
well, that's awesome. You at least got 2, because I was. Yeah. I mean, I saw some. I think the most I saw, I want to say, was maybe 12. Somebody got. And shout out to even Terry Lake. I think Terry said Tear Bear got a bunch.
Hey, Terry, what's going on, my man?
Terry's got a bunch. He's also cornering the market. I want to say on maybe GameStop promos too. Terry's,
he knows
Terry,
someone.
I keep a little tab on you, Terry. I know what you're doing in the background. You can't sneak up on me.
Selling those 50-cent promos, my man. Do it.
No. GameStop Umbreon promos are not 50-cent promos.
Oh no, not those ones.
Yeah. But no, it's wild, right? And we talk about the slowdown of Pokemon, and like we do it, a lot of it is just for the videos, right? Like just to talk about it, like it's stuff people want to talk about. And listen, and the thing is it's a big conversation, right? Because there's definitely parts of Pokemon right now that are not performing great. I think the obvious is Scarlet and Violet Block, Scarlet and Violet Base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames. These are not Grand Slam sets. Everybody's FOMOing in, just like the Van Gogh Pikachus. This stuff's all available. Yeah. It's selling for sub MSRP, not only sub MSRP, because that's a super high number at 160. That's a fake number for booster boxes, but it's selling sub distributor pricing. A lot of my friends in this hobby are sourcing boxes for 96 from distributor. You could pick them up for 90. You just made the joke. You could open up an $80 box. So there's definitely areas in this hobby that are not doing good. And then you go back one timeline earlier, Sword and Shield doing fantastic. Oh, yeah. But that's it. Everybody wants to just do broad claims. Everything is doing good. Everything is doing bad. It has to always be total polar opposites. It's like all slabs are doing bad. All singles are doing good. And it's the nuances, right? Like, you can't do these broads, but
exactly. It's definitely the nuance of it all. It's not broad strokes. You can't do it with broad strokes, because I know that people in my section were selling some pretty high price cards at a pretty decent clip over what I had, which I thought would be a little more. My whole play going down there was to have a bags, essentially. Everyone's going to see the high price cards. Not everyone can afford the high price cards. Come to my table. Oh, look, there's a nice 10. There's a pristine labeled CGC, whatever. Like, I want to pick that up. Like, I had a bunch of that available, and that was not moving the way I thought it was going to move. I was very surprised, to be honest. Stuff moves on eBay. I was sitting next to Mertz. We were talking about it. I can sell this on eBay all day long, but right now, for whatever reason, it's not moving. Oh, it's hat time.
It's definitely hat time. I feel like, hold on,
don't want to reveal. Okay.
I feel like people, definitely want a little more in depth on the Van Gogh promos. First of all, love the hat idea. People will start copying this in the future, but everybody remember, I was the first one to bring the hat up. But I want to know your thoughts. Okay, so there's a lot of people out there. I think the problem is people weren't really reading all the information that was out there, they were doing a lot of speculation. And I think the first part was like from the Van Gogh Museum out of Netherlands. The people were going on the website again for a museum that's in the Netherlands, and then they saw that line where it said this promo in the Netherlands will only be available at the Van Gogh Museum.
Yeah.
It was true. It's a true fact. It was only available if you live in the Netherlands. Through that. But then, real quickly, everyone knew that Pokemon Canada was going to get it. Everyone knew US was going to. Everybody knew Pokemon Center UK was going to get it. Like that news traveled real fast. And then, but I feel like people just maybe didn't believe it.
I don't. People didn't want to believe it. I definitely saw in like Discord chat in the few that I'm in. There was a lot of stuff going around, and then there was people fact checking people and stuff. So it was, I think the FOMO really got people. It came out of nowhere. It was like a meteorite striking the earth. Like people were like, "Oh, this."
How does that promo stay secret though? Like,
and
think about the logistics, because obviously Pokemon makes all this stuff, but are they making the tote bags? No, probably not. Are they making the statues? Are they making the posters? Are they making the postcards? Are they making the notebooks? Probably some of that stuff gets,
it's got to be
outsourced.
sourced. Yeah.
How is somebody working at the tote bag facility or whatever, like doing screen prints of these tote bags? How does none of this shit get leaked? Is Pokemon just coming in there and scaring the crap out of these companies? Like,
I mean, they have to be signing NDAs like crazy to anything to get sent out like this. Because once you get a whiff of it, then everyone, I mean, it took hours for people to find all this information or false information, whatever was going around. It's wild. And you said 800 people from the Millennium Print Group got laid off recently.
Yeah, recently.
So
it's just in a news article I read.
If they weren't printing these cards there, where were they printing them? So you were saying that earlier as well. Like, where were they being printed? And then why did none of these people say that these things are being printed, like anonymously at all? So it's wild that it came out of nowhere, but it came out of nowhere. So it's just, I don't know.
Honestly, it's wild, but this is the thing too. Pokemon went out of their way, and I haven't seen Pokemon go out of the way to do a press release saying that these cards will be available again in the future. And I feel for them to do that it's a pretty big step, because I mean, when they sell out right away, like, sure, you can blame Pokemon, but that's one thing. It's like, okay, well, at least they were available. They did exactly what they said they were going to do, which also was pretty crazy, that they said for every item you purchase, you were going to get one promo card. I think that fact shocked a lot of people. I know personally, I was shocked that it's like, wait, if I hypothetically buy 100 items, I'm going to get 100 promo cards, because I feel like we all came off of the recent Pokemon Center drops, whether it was a special livery Charizard, Bidoof, Pikachu. None of those they were just dollar limits, meaning if you spent $20 or greater, you got a special livery Charizard. It wasn't you spend $100, you get 5 of them, one for every $20. It didn't work like that. So to see it, I think that like kind of shocked a lot of people too. But the fact that Pokemon went out of their way to say this will be available again in the future, like, they have to stick to that word now, or a lot of people are going to.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I don't think they ran out of promos. I think they ran out of actual physical product other than the promos. Like, so they might be sitting on a ton of promos still, or they ran out all those promos and I think the one per every item was definitely a mistake on their part. But they wanted everyone to get it.
Yeah.
And, so everyone that could get it got it. I just think if it was just product, like the physical play mats and, deck sleeves and deck boxes and all that stuff was what was sold out, then they might just have boxes and boxes and boxes and pallets of these promos still sitting that they're going to slowly release. They might just release them because the things goes until January in the Netherlands, correct?
Yeah,
the Van Gogh Museum.
Until January, and it's like, how can it go to January when you can't make it to October? You can't make it one day to the month.
It's the Happy Van Gogh Massacre.
Real quick, Mr. Wallers had a great comment in the chat, and it wasn't a troll question for once. He said people need to talk about the merch. That's going to be a gold mine. Cards will be everywhere, and he's right. When you look at the actual merch, like card sleeve wise, solid artwork for both the Pikachu the Eevee, the Snorlax, like all those deck boxes, the playmats, the posters. If I got
Yeah.
posters, I'd frame all of them, put them
I
all
wanted,
6. Yeah,
yeah,
frame all 6, put them on your wall. You could cover a full wall with 6 posters of just absolute banging artwork.
yeah, that Sunflora is real. I really like the Sunflora artwork out of all
Yeah.
those. I think that was the coolest one.
Yeah, there was just so many good artworks.
Yeah,
Like,
the Corv Knight or the Corvo Knight,
yep.
that was so cool. Like that
Mm.
playmat was the best. I think that was the best looking playmat of them all. It just looks sinister and awesome. Like I really did dig it.
Yeah, no, and he's right. Like I mean, even the coffee mug I wanted the coffee mug. I tried to get it. I think I had it carded. I don't remember. I had a bunch of stuff carded and then they just kept going out of stock.
Yeah.
And that was the worst part too, because like you felt so close, like because it was just hard to get it in your cart in the first place. So once you finally got it in the cart, it was like, okay. And then the first thing I did was PayPal. PayPal just wouldn't go through. Then the next thing I did was credit card, because it was a lot faster to type in your credit card information than to log in the PayPal. And
I tried a
I had
combination of
I had
all those
Safari
things.
browsers open. I had the Twitter browser open, like it's own little.
Yep.
And I was refreshing carts on like both of them, trying the whole.
We were all living in a microcosm experiment this today, man. And we were all doing the same freaking thing.
You know,
So
think about this though. How big is this freaking hobby? How many people does it take to buy? I mean, how many products were released? 30. And then how many of those 30 products exist? Hundreds upon hundreds of each one of those.
yeah, limited to.
How many people dumped into that website and this is one added layer, and I want you to think about. It wasn't like the average person, meaning it wasn't even on the home page of Pokemon Center. You had to have direct links. You had to kind of be in Discords or Twitters.
Yeah.
How many freaking people are in this hobby?
A lot. So I went after Collecticon. I noticed like all the people grading slabs, and then I went to the smaller con by my house, which is like a little collectible show about an hour away. And there wasn't one vendor there that was just selling sealed. People are in this hobby for those cards to grade that stuff. I feel like that is so big right now. I was surprised. I thought there would be less graded slabs at Collecticon than there was, and I just felt like it was everywhere. So I that was my biggest shock and takeaway, and that's my biggest thing with this is people want that promo to grade. Like I think that is you're going to see 20,000 of these bad boy graded by.
Yeah.
As soon as they get them
I've
in
heard
there,
those promos are tough to grade. Again, this is super subjective. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, that's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but from what I've heard from people, that sounds scary. So for the people that were doing those early source plays from the Netherlands and stuff, and that's scary. I'm very risk averse, but that's not a risk I'm about to ever take.
yeah, I was
And
not jumping in on that with those
to
prices. They were
blindly pick
high.
up modern promos, not knowing like quality. I mean, people could get hit with really hard 8s real fast. And that will be one of those promos that when people get them in hand, they're going to be able to look at them and say, this is a sell sealed on eBay. This is a grade play. This is a binder play, all the.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
What's your plan to do with your two? Sell them
I'm,
raw or grade them?
oh, they're going to PSA. Definitely. If they're gradable, they're going value tier, maybe higher if I think that I can get them back quick enough to flip them. I'm not the biggest race to the bottom guy. But for these, if they come quick enough, it just depends on when they ship out. It's 5 to 8 days. They said, I mean, it could take longer. You don't know that the amount of packages they have to pack at Pokemon Center right now. They're going to be working overtime for weeks.
There's a lot of their like packing employees just mother effing the world.
Oh
right now.
Yeah, for sure. Twitter.
But yeah, even people are talking about like the playmats, and I don't know. I can't verify this, but Flip Flap Cards in the chat just said PK, they are selling the promos in Japan at 450 USD.
That's wild.
That wild. I mean,
and that's just raw.
Obviously not on eBay.
Not on eBay. Also, what, like Marikai and Bai and stuff?
I'm guessing. Which, if you think about it, I mean, that makes sense, right? Because if you're selling on Bai and you'll be able to sell to Japan, or you're selling through Yahoo auctions or stuff like this, you wouldn't have as much competition, obvious. I mean, there's going to be 1,000+ people watch this video. Out of those 1,000+ people, how many people buy on, buy, let alone sell on buy? And then how
Yeah.
many of those people buy on Yahoo, Japan auctions versus sell? The numbers out of that 1,000 probably drop into, to be honest with you, single digits to maybe zero for Yahoo auctions,
Yeah,
So
that's all that stuff's out of my league. I have those accounts. I just really don't mess with any of those very much. It's
but I
and
can
watch
see
it.
that just being like no competition. And if that's the
Yeah.
case,
Yeah, I mean 450 for a sealed promo is insane. It's just crazy.
Brad G Card said Beerski needs to start a YouTube channel. First of all, I love your name too, Beerski. Like you
Thank you.
can never, just so you know, just like I can never not be PK, you can never not be Beerski at
Oh,
this.
Beerski's it, man. That is me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna grab a beer right now and make this kind of a little better.
Awesome. But so tell me about like some of your interactions with, and we will circle back to these promos because I think it's important to talk about like some of the more nuances. But before we like kill this topic too much, because I do want to talk about it. There's a lot of things spinning around in my brain right now, and I'm actually super happy that I have somebody to bounce off ideas. But I know Brad G said you need to start a YouTube channel. But what were your thoughts of when you got to meet everybody in person? Like, what was that initial? Because you see some people on videos before, but not everyone. Maybe they're just a name or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely it was very, very cool. Like I said, everyone was extremely welcoming. They were very friendly. Um, like seeing the people who are on YouTube, obviously like you, Dan, Jake, everyone, Mason, all them, like that's awesome. Get to finally meet you guys, talk to you in person. But like seeing like Brad G's a gem. Like I had great conversations with him. We hung out at the public house, came over to the table a couple of times. Great guy. Meeting Mr. Walrus was awesome. Like putting names to faces and finally like getting to like get a real feel of someone. It's like you could talk on the internet through, the chats all you want, but like getting a one-on-one with people is like really what it is about. And like that was my biggest takeaway from Collecticon was like, and you say it's the relationships you make along the way. And like
Yeah.
the
And it
relationships I made were
and it
so
sounds
like,
corny, right? But it's the truth. It's like,
yeah,
but it's kind of like when you, and again, it's super corny, but when you think about Pokemon in general and you think about the game, it's like Pokemon's about the journey, right? And like I feel like it's just the same with this hobby, and people can interact with this hobby on different ways. Like you can just interact with the cards. You can just be a collector. You could, in a way, be a closet collector. Nobody knows you exist. You're
yeah,
just you enjoy it, and that's fine. Like if that's how you want to interact, but like just same way in the game is there's this big Pokemon world out there. Like it's the same way in real life too. There's a big Pokemon world out there, and it's
yeah,
way bigger than this channel. It's way bigger than PokeRev. It's way bigger than the biggest possible channel out there. Like even YouTube within itself is in a niche. Like obviously YouTube has a huge reach and PokeRev has 3 million subscribers or
yeah,
whatever he's hitting. That's still a niche in this hobby. Like you're talking US, Canada, all the European countries, Japan, China's getting into this, Korean market, the Vietnamese market, the Taiwanese market, the South American market. It's just
yeah,
like, wait, all these markets are their own little ecosystems in a way. It's like, yeah, kind of. And then obviously Worlds kind of brings everybody together. But this hobby's huge. And I just see such a huge, I want to get a little bit of your thoughts on this. Like, for future trajectory of this hobby, I can see this going on. And for greater than 20 years, like Gary King Pokemon always said, he has a great quote. He always says, because of the way everything is and the way people grew up with Pokemon, even if Pokemon tomorrow printed like their last set, okay, we're not printing cards anymore. Gary King Pokemon always said the hobby always has 20 years after that fact. And I do believe that, but because that's not going to happen,
yeah.
I don't see this hobby slowing down anytime soon. I would love to get your thoughts on that, though.
I mean, Gary lived it. He lived 20 years of the hobby doing what the hobby did. I mean, he went through the low lows, but
Oh yeah,
he saw the high 2020, the supposed golden age for some people, like thinking that's like the end all be all, and it's just downhill from there. Like it can keep chucking along. Like Pokemon printed cards through their like dark age. They're gonna keep printing cards now when stuff's selling off of PokemonCenter.com in an hour, and they just, people are buying cards, man. Buying cards every day. They're buying booster boxes every day off the TCG Player and eBay and freaking Marikai, and buy it. Stuff's getting bought up, man. It's just getting bought up. People are tucking it away. They're wanting it to happen again in 20 years. And that's what's happening. And I do believe that that's going to be there. It might not be what it was in 2020, but I mean, think of the dollar values that are being thrown around in the hobby right now. Like it's crazy.
Still seeing all-time sales. Yeah.
So you're going to have all-time sales, and it's just going to continue to go. Like I don't think it may not be like crazy all-time sales where you're going to see the first edition Charizard go for higher than it's going now. I mean, what's it going for now? 20?
Yeah, about 20. Yeah.
So
for the PSA 9 first edition, if that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah. So like that's 20, and then the 10 is crazy, right? That's out of control.
Yeah, I mean 200 plus.
Yeah. So
depending on the seal,
it could go back up again to Logan Paul stuff. I mean, he paid stupid amount of money for all of his stuff, so it's just,
Well, and all markets do that though. All markets have their up and down, but as long as that overall trajectory goes like this, like I don't know where we are on that trajectory. Like some people might say we're right here at the peak. Some people say, oh no, we're in the middle. We're definitely not at the bottom.
No,
the bottom's, in my opinion, has already happened. Like I've seen the bottom. We're probably past the bottom, but even if we're in the mid section, that means we could potentially still double from here. And if that is just on the low end, maybe we're, the problem is we live so much in the day to day, right? So we see all the nuances of the hobby. Now imagine, and this is like a perspective I want a lot of people to just kind of pull back and think about. Imagine if this channel or this type of content existed in 2013. Imagine the conversations that would be had with, all-time sales of these cards at super lows, and you would be able to see those like little ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
But the overall trajectory would be like, oh my God, did you see a first edition PSA 10 Charizard just sold for $3,300, and the next sale was $2,800. For a $3,300 card, it just lost $500 in value in one sale. Like, sure, it does that, but fast forward 10 years later,
it's freaking mooned, man.
But I think that's the problem too, is we get so wrapped up in the nuances. But it's in a way I'm okay with that, because that's how I like to interact with the hobby.
Yeah. And that's why I consume the content that I consume, because that's how I like to interact with the hobby too. Like this year has really been like a extreme learning year for me. I learned how to use eBay properly. I learned how to source cards. I learned how to send well pre-graded cards to PSA and CGC. Like my 10 rate is very good. I try not to send what I don't think is going to get 10s. It's just grade 10s, right? that's the plan. Just grade 10s.
Easiest line in the book.
This year has been all to learn, and I've been learning so much and learning more about the niches and learning more about this set and that set. So like I feel like year one was foundation, and now I can continue to go into more of the heavier things and start making more plays that I think will net more in the long run.
I always like to quote Charlie Herlocker, because Charlie has a great quote. He says, if you're not doing any failed plays, you're not taking enough risks. And he's right when he says that. Like, everybody needs to fail at some point, as long as your fails aren't far out surpassing your wins, as long as that's not happening. Like, because I think when it boils down to is learn from your mistakes, right? Like if you learn from those mistakes, as long as you come out better in the end, like maybe you lose $100. Well, if that $100 prevents you from in the future losing thousands, that $100 seems like a damn good investment to me.
Absolutely.
And then, instead of losing thousands, now you make thousands. It's like, I'll spend $100 to make one mistake, But real quick, I just want so somebody asked you a question. They said, Beerski, were you the one at Woodbridge last week? They think they met you and didn't know it was you. We talked about the Moonbryon I grabbed. The thing was 100% gem mint. Do you remember Class 8? Were you at Woodbridge, and what
I
is
sure
Woodbridge?
do, man. Yeah. So I was looking at E-series cards out of this one binder. Um, just trying to find deals here and there. Earlier in the day, I had walked over to the one table and they had a raw moonbry on there. Um, I took it out. I looked at it. I thought it was slightly off centered. I didn't want to. He said the price was 500, but definitely could have talked him down. I think this guy got it for less than. I'm sorry, he
Off
said
center, left to
550.
right, or top to bottom?
It was left to right and top to bottom a little bit. It was both.
Okay.
So it was kind of on the edge. It definitely can 10, but I didn't want to drop 500 on it and for it not to 10. So
Yeah.
he came over and we were talking about it. I was like, I don't know, it got brought up that the Moonbreon was there. And I was like, yeah, man, I was looking at the Moonbreon before, but I didn't pick it up because I didn't want to get a 9 on it. He was just like, I picked that Moonbreon up. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I was like, hopefully it 10s for you. I really hope it 10s for you. Like I really do. And it can. It was a pretty card. It was super clean. There wasn't a white dot on it. There wasn't anything. It was just ever so off centered. So that's awesome, man. Hey, nice. It was nice meeting you at the
yeah.
at
So class
Woodbridge.
AT12, when you get that submission back, you got to let us know. Did
Hell
you
yeah,
nine it,
man.
or did you hit the grand slam and hit the 10?
I gotta know.
Yeah. But Chef 954 is in the chat too. So Chef 954 was one of the reasons we went to what was the last night we went?
Capitol Grill.
Capitol Grill. He was one of the
Yep.
chefs there. So what was your experience at Capitol Grill?
Oof.
I thought we were sitting, I really liked our section. It was me, you, Nick Old School Pokemon, and then next to me was Mr. Walrus.
Yep.
I really liked the four of us.
It was a good little conversation. Oh, I think that was the highlight of the weekend. I laughed so hard. We were having such a great time. Yeah, so we all go out to meet up. It's they say super fancy place, but weren't allowed to wear our hats in there. We have guys
PK had no hat on the whole time.
PK had no hat on. We have guys walking in with poop on, like the green shiz poops on their shirt. They tucked us in this back room with sliding doors. Like we were coming in like 2s and 3s. Now we didn't all sit down at the same time. But I had a great old fashioned. The steak was on point, and the $36 South African lobster tail was some of the best seafood I ever tasted in my life.
Yeah, that's what
that was so good. And that creme brulee cheesecake was so good. I mean, we laughed. I had a really good time that night. That was fun. Like that was a good nightcap or good weekend cap for everything that went on. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, and it was great meeting everyone. Nick Old School Pokemon's hysterical. His movie references and TV references that he gets and picks up on cracks me up. Like it's so good knowing that like that group, he just gets it.
Yeah, no, one of the cool things about Pokemon is you got so many people from different walks of life, but because they all have that one common shared interest, like you can see all the different like nuances of people, and it's awesome that everybody can kind of get together, and it doesn't matter where you're from, like what your background is, anything like that. It's just once you get together, everyone just becomes friends, and
yeah. And I feel like it's hard. It's hard. Like it's hard making adults as friends or making friends as adults, right? Like it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. And I definitely felt like I made friends that weekend. Like it was great. Like everyone was super welcoming. PK says it all the time. I'm looking at everyone that's watching this right now. Like put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Meet people. It'll be the best thing you do in this hobby. This is not a hobby to be by yourself in. Meet everyone and get involved, because this has been one of the best things I've done personally in my life, is getting involved in this hobby. And that weekend, putting myself out there was one of the best things I ever did. So that's awesome. Do that.
No, you're a good dude. But so let me ask you now, like, so we'll get into a little bit more like the overall market. What's just been your overall feel of the market? Because if you were around in 99 and then you come back in 2020, you come back in absolute perfect storm, everything goes up, rocket ship emojis to the moon, like absolute meme type time. So coming out of that, how do you look at the overall market today when you're trying to now make your graded plays, what to buy, what to sell, because you're still doing those plays too, right?
Yeah. So I feel like,
are you nervous, I should say? Or are you just...
No, I'm not nervous. Like I definitely think that I need to focus a little bit more on like more niche stuff. Like I feel like the ultra modern grading plays and all that are kind of, they're being fleshed out pretty well. So like
So much competition. I
there's
think that
so
just
much competition. Like I've been really sourcing, like I've been hitting like Facebook Marketplace really hard. I've been hitting, like I've been going to the local shows pretty hard. Like I'm trying to find more like niche stuff that I can grade and get out that like has a market that people are looking for those cards. Because at Collecticon, it seemed like people were just coming up and asking for one-off cards at our tables. Like they were asking for Skyridge something something,
Yeah.
or Holland Phantom something something. And I'm like, let's Rattle came up and asked for something I've never heard of before. And I was like, I don't have that, man. Like I wish I had that. Would you like any of my $30 slabs? Like, so
Yeah,
that's
Rattle is looking for, I think, play promo energies. I
yeah,
think
he
that's
was
what
looking for some crazy stuff. So I just my outlook, I feel like the outlook's good. You just need to figure out where you're gonna be. And like that Collecticon made me realize like maybe not putting most of my funds into like modern graded plays and stuff and getting like the small margins. Like if I do a little bit more leg work and I can source a really clean card that's more vintage and then flip that, like I feel like that's more fun too. Does that
See,
make sense? Like, you know what I mean? Like
I'm
that,
so happy you said that, because it always was, the money was always the money was always the riches are in the niches, was the saying we would always say, right? And it's funny that Pokemon in a way has done this big circle where the riches were in the niches. You had to be deep down the rabbit hole, you had to grade the niche stuff, because that's where like the money was, that's where the buyer pool was, till eventually like all this crazy modern stuff happened, all the super mass produced stuff happened, until eventually like the crazy amount of competition that exists for all these cards, that absolute race to the bottom, till eventually you get back to the beginning where the
yeah,
riches are in the niches. And then it's just, but that's the thing, like Pokemon, it's weird to describe a hobby as being fluid, but Pokemon is fluid. It's just like, where is the market today? It's just moved to wherever it is. And
yeah,
then it might not be riches in the niches next year. It might move back to a different area, and you just got to keep moving with the market. Like, and to be honest with you, if you have a little bit of that hindsight, and if you're able to like be in a way one step ahead, and I think that one step ahead is as simple as having cards already graded, right?
yeah,
So when the market moves there, you're in a position to take advantage of that market, because if there's money to be made, everybody will eventually pile into that. But
yeah,
the problem is there's a little bit of lag time.
yeah. Well, it was like that waifu craze. Anyone that
Perfect
had
example.
graded cards were killing it. And then what happened 2 or 3 months later? Dead. It
Yep.
just all crashed at team up cards. Same thing. Like,
Oh,
and
I
then
mean, team up cards are on a downtrend right now. A lot,
yeah,
not all of them, but some of them are
but
definitely up.
everything was mooning, and then everything started shooting back down again because
Yep.
once everyone flooded their market with their non-graded cards that they just graded, there wasn't enough demand. It was what was there. It seemed scarce, and I think it was less scarce than people thought it was.
Yeah.
And then once everyone started opening their binders, the stuff that's been tucked away for 5-10 years, like here you go. Like even in the discords, people were just laying out cards. I mean, people were selling the just regular hollow waifu cards for crazy amounts of money at that
Yeah.
point. And
Especially that was, I think
the
that was some
Japanese, it was,
manipulation going on from the
oh,
Japanese side of
definitely.
it.
But listen, it was putting money in people's pockets over here. So and
Yeah.
people ran with it. So it's just like, I feel like the more niche right now, I think will be better. I mean, you can have a lot of money to dump into a ton of modern. You can make the margins, but make it $5 on 30 cards kind of sucks. It's
Yeah. No, but so real quick in the chat, Flip Flap Card said he would post a link to something. I don't think YouTube lets you post any links to anything. I think you got to be a mod to post a link. But
always
I see
trying to
we
boast.
got a bunch of all-stars in the chat. I see Dan Catchmall Collectibles, Professor Birch, Chef 954, like I mentioned. And it's funny. So listen to this comment. And this kind of goes back to what you said earlier. Chef 954 said, I'm super introverted, and getting involved and meeting everyone is awesome. Best thing he's done in a while. And it's,
Yeah,
you
dude,
know,
it was the best thing I've done. I came home, I glowed for a week. I was so happy. Like that was like the best after week of like a weekend in a long time. Like everything was just I felt like I learned so much more too, like just being in that environment and seeing what people wanted. Like it again, another learning experience for the year. Like it was perfect.
So what I took out of it was it kind of in a way lit a little bit of a fire under my ass out because, and I've talked about this in other lives like that. I've just had one-on-one, like there's a future in this hobby, or at least like a trajectory you can go. And when you see other people that have already like done that trek or done that like journey, it's like, okay, I can follow in a way, follow in these guys' footsteps. And I don't need to get to the end of the journey or get to where whatever point they are in the journey.
Yeah.
If I could get a quarter of the way, if I could get halfway there, like that changes like your whole life in a way. So it's pretty motivating in a sense.
Oh, it's
And especially
definitely
when I went to Rusty's house on Friday and you see like talking to all those guys, seeing what Rusty's done. I mean, Rusty in a way is, if there was a rainbow, he's at the pot of gold at the end.
oh, dude, definitely.
He's he found the leprechaun. He stole all the leprechaun's gold, and then Rusty's just sitting in that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
That's awesome. Bodos and
But he
stuff.
deserves it too. Like that's the thing. Like, and I love stories, and one of the best stories in this hobby is Rusty's, because Rusty's story doesn't start off in that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Like that's where he makes it to today with everything he has at the eBay vault, everything he's doing on the day to day,
Yeah.
everything he has his inventory.
He grinded
The
his
story
ass off.
starts off with his family like on his living room floor cracking open booster boxes of the most modern set, doing that absolute like bulk single grind route in order to make $10-15 from a booster box after individually selling cards, things people still today won't make $15 per booster box because they're like, that sounds terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
he did that, and he had 10,000 listings on his eBay at one point, and a lot of those listings were multiple quantities of bulk cards, like grinding 25 cents. Like, I love the story, right? Like, it didn't start off great until, and then he put the legwork in. You got to make those relationships, and he reached out to people on eBay, reached out to sellers, like, oh, you used to work at Wizard of the Coast, like,
Talk to
let's
me.
make a relationship. It's, but because he did that, because he took a chance, because he took a risk, it's paid off so well. And I love the stories behind it, because people only ever see the end product, right? They never see
Yeah.
all the hard work that like takes you to get there.
Yeah, it's definitely hard work. Like people think, oh, it's just cards,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard work. Like you especially like coming from not knowing any of it, like to learn all the steps to get to the point where you can even like submit your first card to PSA is not an easy little journey. Like you need to know, you need to have people to bounce some things off of. Like I would have been lost without the discords I was in. Like I'm definitely glad I hooked up with some of those when I did, because it just helped me move a little bit more forward. And it was like helpful to see what people were talking about and how people were saying, make sure you look at these cards, grade them, pre-grade. And it's just one of those things. Like and don't ever like, I never think I'll be to the point where like Dan is or Rusty, or like some of the conversations that Herlocker was having at dinner that first night, like the numbers that he was throwing around were like wild in my mind. Like I was like, how could you, like, how are you even talking about this? Like
Millions of
I'm
dollars,
hanging off steel beams and stuff, and you're talking about having millions of dollars in liquidity. Like it's just insane. Like
getting mad and pulling out, like
yeah,
7 figures worth of cards to certain people. It's just
yeah, right. It's just wild, man.
Let me
It's
not make
so
you
cool.
mad. Real quick, Big Boba said, "Where's the rant? Not here for this hunky dory. Hold your hand, kumbaya." Yeah, don't worry, we still got the hats on,
The
guys.
hats are on, man.
The hats are still on.
It's the Van Gogh massacre of 2023, my man. Like
today.
today,
I love that Van Gogh massacre, man.
People got beat up today. There was a lot of souls crushed. People were crying at their wives. It definitely was happening.
All right, we're gonna do speculation play, but I want to hear your opinion. So you work at Pokemon. You're some executive figuring out this release. How do you drop the ball this bad? Is it a logistics thing? Are you just not able to print enough or make enough of this product? Or you got to know at this point, right? Like, or are you so bad at your job and you work at Pokemon that you do not see this happening? Because I can tell you right now, There, we got 105 people watching this live
Yeah.
real time. There's 105 people. If they worked at Pokemon, would have went, this is going to be a bloodbath. This, or like you
It was
said, this is
like,
going to
I
be a
don't know.
massacre.
I mean, they must have just like, that's called laissez-faire governance right there. Like they just did not care what happened. So like at least even Pokemon Center Japan does lottery stuff. Like there should have been a queue. There should have been something in place. Like the fact that it was just the fact that people were sniping the listings or sniping like the pages for these products before they were even on Pokemon Center. And they were just like typing, because I did it. It was just adding one more like +1 to the last number on the SKU, and you would get to the next SKU. That's all it was. That's what people were doing. And I don't know. If people aren't fired for this, I mean, someone's getting in trouble. Like this was supposed to last for months. It lasted one day. Like you couldn't have put out a limited quantity and roll it out. Like they do it with so many other products. They do it with so.
So listen to this. So Dan Catchmall Collectibles in the chat, he has a little bit of the tinfoil fedora hat on. He said,
Nice.
They got everything sold, and every future release, they got people wondering if it's the next Van Gogh. So they will buy, FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. So Dan's saying this is a coordinated, malicious attack by Pokemon.
He might be right. He might be right. That man's got a nose for the market and a nose for this kind of shit. So like, it could definitely be one of those things where Pokemon was just like, full send it. Let's get the hype up. I mean, because they notice that people aren't buying their $80 booster boxes. Like they know this stuff. So like, perfect. Let's drop this huge thing. Let the people in the Netherlands tear each other apart in the Van Gogh Museum and let the bloodbath continue. I mean, it's just been happening for 2 days now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is catch 'em. What is it? Dan Know It All Collectibles. Dan knows it all.
Oh, is Terry saying stuff?
Is it? Care Bears being nice in the chat. I haven't seen actually.
Terry,
I don't think I've
up,
ever
man?
seen Terry live in one of my chats before. Terry gives me a lot of shit, but I love Terry. Terry.
He sees the Anakin in you, bro.
Well, he's a what?
He sees the Anakin in you.
Yeah, he does see the Anakin. I think I've moved a little bit over to the Darth Vader for Terry, so
it's all good.
But don't worry. Maybe Terry, you could be the Luke Skywalker. You could bring me back to the light side. But I think Terry's got a little bit of a Darth Vader in him too. I've seen some of his plays. My man just pretends like he's not just in the background buying up stuff, like manipulated markets, doing big dumps of products. So we see you out there, Terry. But hey, we'll see. And this is the thing too. This future release of this Van Gogh promo, we'll see how that plays out. Like, listen, I get it. Pokemon made the press release. They said that it would be available in the future. We do live in a world where Pokemon's full of shit, so maybe they don't do that.
It might never be available again. It might just be it. Like, we need to say something. Like, someone pointed at an intern. It was like, you need to write something to have everyone relax. Like, figure it out, and then you're fired. Like, here you go.
But in the future, what could this release look like? Are we talking just more drops of Van Gogh merch, or are we just talking spend $20 on Pokemon Center, you get a promo code, you get a Van Gogh promo?
If Pokemon Center is outsourcing this product, it'll probably just be the promo cards. But then you'd have to spend a certain amount, and then you're risking pissing people off who spent, $40 for 6 posters to get a card, as opposed to like $20 to just get the card. I don't know.
But the card's supposed to be free, so you're not buying the card.
You're not, but that's what people are. People didn't give a some did. Like, I wanted some of that stuff today. I think most people want that card. Most people see the value in the card. Like,
yeah,
you're seeing stuff on eBay is crazy right now, but I definitely think some of that stuff, like all the ancillary stuff that people were buying to get the card today, will be going down in price. Definitely.
It would be. See, these are the questions we'll never get answers to, but I would like to know how many were just printed. And I know there's a lot of people out there just roll their eyes like, okay, yeah, obviously, PK, we all want to know how much all this shit gets printed, but you know what I mean? I really just want to know, like, did Pokemon know this was going to be what it was? And I feel like they would. And if they don't know, then they honestly need to rehire whatever consultants are working for their company, like fire them.
Oh, yeah.
On the spot.
Like, they definitely need to have a pulse on the market. And if today they had no pulse on the market. Like there was just a corpse laying there. They didn't feel anything. They don't know what's going on. So like, again, I said it before. It's either they sold out of all the product that was available on Pokemon Center, and they have a ton of leftover promo cards, or they have a ton of leftover that other stuff and no promo cards, and they don't want to sell that stuff without the promo card. So I don't know which it is. It's one of the two. It could be both, but I doubt it's both.
So one of the products that sold out faster than all the other products were just the postcards, because
cheap.
Yeah, they were super cheap. You get 12 of them. You get like all the artworks. They'll probably display nicely. You could probably grade them with PSA. You know, anybody out there, you want to do a little first to market type shit, grade those fucking postcards. Let's see how those do for you. You people are grading stamps. Keep that in mind. Grade postcards. PSA will slab. They'll slab it for you. They'll put a nice little 10 label on it. People will go crazy for that. And there won't be super big. Like you could do that. Everybody out there, wink, wink. But no, you got a product like that. How hard is it to print postcards? It's just paper. Like that's Pokemon's in the business of printing paper.
Yeah.
You're telling me that the postcards were one of the first things that sold out. How do you not have just
endless?
And yeah, exactly. Thank you. Just endless amount of postcards. How does that even sell out? Like that? What's the barrier of entry? The printing postcards.
There's none unless the barrier of entry was the promo card.
Yeah.
Them doing the one for one, I think bit them in the ass. They wanted everyone to get it, and then they didn't think. I mean, you don't see limit of 2 on many things on Pokemon Center. They just limited to everything, and they still sold out of everything in a couple hours. It was like 3 hours. Everything was gone.
Less than that.
Less than
minutes.
that. Yeah.
It felt like I mean.
They rolled that out a little bit. I mean, I sat at the oil change spot for a little bit. They were trying to talk to me, and I'm like, just got to give me a second. I'm trying to get some more of these Pokemon cards, man.
I fucking care less about my car.
Dude, just put oil in it. Yeah. He came over. It's like, your engine filter's dirty. I was like, put a new one in it. Like,
get out of here.
Dude, please let me do this. Your service sucks. I'm trying to buy these things.
But yeah. Big Boba, hot comment of the night, said toxicity in Pokemon is sad. Might need to just find another way to interact with Pokemon. Sad days we're in. I look back and not say golden age and instead say very sad days. That is a hot take. I don't know how you're interacting with the hobby, Big Bo, but I would say that there is some toxicity definitely in Pokemon, but I think we're in a good spot right now in the hobby.
We're in a great spot right now.
Great spot, yeah.
I feel very good. Like I don't feel bad about it. I feel good about it.
I mean, like what's the other end of this? It's like all this shit stays on Pokemon Center for a year. Nobody wants to buy it. Pokemon's not selling products. I don't see that. I mean, I think there is definitely a balance, right? I don't think the balance is everything sells out in 20 minutes and nobody gets anything. I don't think that is good. But I think where like the problem might come in with bots and everything, I think we probably saw PokemonCenter.com get botted like
for sure.
Next level.
Those sleeves were gone so fast.
Yeah.
The moment I clicked the link from Daily Pokemon Drops, they were sold out, gone.
Yep.
They came up, I think, once or twice more, or the website was just lagging and showing them in stock. Because every time you added them and went to pay, you just got,
that's what happened to me.
Submit your payment. They just couldn't keep up. There was so much traffic on that website today. So
next question. Think Forward said, PK, if you had a card, would you risk it and send it at $100? If it was a PSA 10 and I felt it was a PSA 10, I'd risk it. I sent special delivery Charizard at $100.
Yep.
I hit a 10. I sent one.
It just depends on how quick it gets to you. If it comes back within the week, yes. If you're waiting 2-3 weeks, no. I feel like that you're screwed at that point. Yep. Someone will already have had them out, and we don't know how many are out there right now, but there's going to be quite a bit.
So my special delivery Charizard, the one I sent at 100, was perfectly centered. I got it. I looked at it. And I went, this is like perfect centering. And I said, I'm just going to risk it at 100. I sent 2 cards at 100. I sent the special delivery Charizard at 100. And then the other card in my submission was Garantina from Lost Origins. I hit the alt art in a build and battle bundle. It was the first
Really?
pack I opened. I got super
That's a
lucky.
pretty
Sent
card.
that at 100, hit a 9. So
Oh,
I
it's all
had
right.
50% chance 10s, and
That's
one
all
of
right.
them
Wait,
hit
you
the
sold
10.
that special delivery for what, 600?
625.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See? Positive EV right there.
Yeah. So it
Making
was super
moves.
great. And now, I mean, it was a great play. But to answer that question, like, yeah, if you got a card, but this is the thing, you got to be really confident in your grading. If you're going to send a card out at $100,
Yeah.
spend the extra 20 seconds and really don't just look at corners, edges, and centering. Really look at that surface, because
Get yourselves one of these, people. It definitely
yeah,
goes a long way.
I just listen, I got a card right here I like to keep in front of me all the time as a
Oh, yeah.
reminder.
That's a great one.
Beautiful card. That's
Oh,
PSA 4.
it's a 4.
It's a this
Yeah.
is a personal collection piece. This is what they they gave a 4 to.
Is there a ding in it anywhere?
I listen. If there's a ding, I still haven't seen it yet. I also got a submission back recently. Hold on.
That's great.
I don't know. I got another submission back when I was at Rusty's. I had everybody look at the card, and it's just like
Consistently inconsistent. PSA. That's just, I mean, I got a Unagaba Pikachu PSA 8. They sent it to me. I looked over that card a lot before I sent it out. I cracked it, sent it back out. I got a 10. So like, that's where they're at. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just all eyes closed, dart throws. Like, just here. Oh, that's an 8.
yeah.
I don't get it. But
So what I mean, anyways, to go back to the question though, if you're sending a card at 100, be confident in your grading abilities. But yeah, I think there will be a play. I mean, that is going to be a card that's going to be raced to the bottom, but early sales are going to sell for premiums. You probably could get $1,000. I know that's listen, I'm fine with being wrong and it not selling for 1,000 because it'll still sell for like 700.
the first one's gonna sell for a bunch.
And if that comment earlier today was true, that the Japanese market is buying these up raw for 450, which again, not a hill I'm willing to die on, did not verify that statement. But if that is true, easily $1,000.
Easily. I mean, just selling for more than a Evolving Sky booster box. Like, this is
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like, what's going on here? It just makes no sense. And you go buy them on eBay for $60.
Yeah.
Like right now, I think I looked right before we got on. They were $60.
Yeah, I saw a couple. Like anybody that was selling them at 50, they were just moving super fast. But
Let's see.
I think a lot of people are afraid. They saw that release from Pokemon. They see everything sold out, and
Oh,
they
look at
don't
that.
wanna wait.
Already $94.95. Buy it now. Low list. So
Nice.
they're $94.95 low list. So they're shooting
What
back
a
up
world
again.
we live in.
Oh, I mean, what is going on here?
Dude, imagine you bought why couldn't I just pick up some sleeves? $7.99 for 2 sleeves. You buy 2 sets of sleeves, you're all in for what? $16, and you sell 2 of the promos, you get $200 for them.
Yeah, it's insane.
What? This is a
Pre-order confirmed. I love that's how they're getting. It's just all pre-ordered. None of these.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Dude, we live in a very special world right now.
Hey, I love it. Let it happen. This is good for a lot of people.
Mm.
It makes it fun. Listen, we just talked about this. This has been on everyone's lips all day long. Like, this is what Pokemon needs. Like, they need this hype. And so maybe this was Dan might be on something just to catch them all collectibles. This might be, malicious intent by Pokemon to drive product sales. Definitely.
So real quick, so a couple things I want to touch on. Anybody watch Rattle stream earlier today? So a little backstory to this. Rattle stream earlier today. He was open the trick or trade packs, and there's 10 hollows in the set. And his whole goal was for every hollow he pulled, he would take for every pack he opened, he would take a shot. So if he had like in a perfect world, he takes 10 shots, he completes that entire trick or trade set because he pulls one of every hollow.
They were Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, Jaeger bombs. But in reality, you're going to pull a lot of duplicates. So he ended up taking a bunch of shots. Rattle had an entire like quart, like the big ass bottles of Jaeger. He finished it.
I don't know how you
Rattle
do
by
that.
the end of the stream was wasted.
Wasted.
Love to see it. Shout out to Rattle Pokemon. Rattle, if you're watching this 3 days later after you wake up from that hangover.
Oh my God.
Friend.
The sugar content in Jaeger, he is fucked tomorrow.
No.
It's gonna be a rough day up north, man.
Yeah, and we will be hopping in the Rattle Discord. I
Oh,
don't know if
definitely.
Rattle will be around. If he is, we might see Rattle in rear form though.
They got him hooked up to a liquid IV right now. Maybe. I don't know, man.
Oh, but dude, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Rattle's one of my favorite people in this hobby. I really enjoy his content. Like I like what he does too. I like his Discord. It's probably the Discord I'm most active in. It's the one I love to jump in for. I finally got you to jump in for a happy hour.
Yeah, I'll be there every Saturday I can be there. I'll be in those happy hours. That was fun. It was cool ripping some cards. It was cool meeting new people again.
Yeah,
it was just a cool vibe.
Yeah, I do the
More
same
people
thing.
should do it.
And it goes on for so long that I like to jump in after I don't put the kids to bed. Like I make the joke. People think I'm around all the time. And I think I might have told you this in person. I told somebody when I was at Charlotte Collecticon, people have the illusion that like PK's always there. PK's always around. If I'm not live, you probably never see me. Like I only have this very small window of time, but because I make a bunch of content, people are watching me throughout the day. So they feel like I'm always there, but there's like a 1 hour window that I get to do D-Gen stuff, you know?
Hey, dude, it's awesome though. You put out a lot of good content, man. It's
But
always
Friday
good.
night,
It's a good watch.
Tonight, I made time. We're doing this live, and then we're gonna go hop in and do some D-Gen stuff, open packs and stuff. And
I got a Scarlet and Violet booster box. It's getting ripped. 36 packs. I'm ripping the shit out of it.
Dude, I hope you pull the Merriam, man.
Oh, I hope I pull something. We'll see. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but the first one I ripped, I pulled the Gyarados with the silly hat.
Okay, yeah.
I sent that out. I got a 10 actually. It was awesome.
Dude, I like the Gyarados. I like the Arcanine.
They're sharp cards. Like I feel like they pop really nice. They're undervalued right now. I think
everything kind of in this block in a way is undervalued, you know.
Yeah.
But
they're pretty. Like they're shiny. They're full art. I mean, it's a full art Gyarados. Like he's a monster Pokemon.
Yeah. There's do you have a favorite Gyarados artwork?
It's the shiny Gyarados artwork. It's so good. Okay. I mean, it's so cliche. It's a good artwork, man. Like Gyarados. I'm bigger like I think Snorlax art.
Shout out to PokeRev out there. PokeRev, he's a big Neo Rev fan. Obviously, it's in the name. Pokemon Revolution card that comes from Neo Revelations. But awesome. I think that's his favorite card too.
Yeah, it's a good one. I definitely like that. I mean, Gyarados has had a lot. There's a few where he's like coming at you pretty hard. That one, it's like similar to that Blastoise art. Blastoise is like swimming at you. Like I like those like action shots of Pokemon much more.
I like the Blastoise. You're thinking Expedition, the Blastoise Expedition, the Blastoise for Alligator. Yeah, both of them solid. People always say PK has stuff in arm's reach.
We got that big space now, man. Yeah, dude, that's the best Blastoise artwork. Like that one's he's such a stud in that one.
Yeah, people are always like, PK's got everything in arm's reach, and it's kind of true. Sometimes it's not, but that one was true.
Is that Super Mario 3 behind you sealed? Sorry to make you go back there again. Oh, yes, it is. That's awesome. Are you unsealing it? Oh, no.
So we could open it. I'll show you. The game's in it.
Oh, it's a year seal. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it's a PK resale.
It's a PK resale. Hey, man, I worked at GameStop for like 5 years. I resealed a lot of video games in my time, so don't worry about it.
Everything's a PK resale. Like the fact that people just don't get it by now, they're just
Oh,
on
that's
a different
great. I
level.
love how you just tore it open. That's so
There's
good.
probably a bunch of people just watch me open that game and
Just
be like,
threw up
"What
in their
the
mouth a
fuck
little
is
bit.
he doing?"
Yeah. That's
No, I
awesome.
actually I resealed this one in the Rattle Discord, and
Nice.
I keep talking to everybody. I'm like, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to make a point to everyone. Like I'm trying really, really hard to dig my feet in the sand and just explain to everybody that anything can be resealed. Stop everybody out there who just blindly thinks like they won't be scammed. It's so easy. I just opened the Super Mario 3. I could listen, there's a golden eye 007. We'll open that bad boy right now. That one's sealed too. Like it's it's all Fugazi. It's
Oh, I love it.
a bunch of booster boxes down there. They're all resealed. Like
That's great. Got to keep the dust off them somehow.
got to keep the dust off them. Like that's why it's like which booster box you want to open. I got Heart Gold side, or I got Triumphant, Boundaries Cross, Call of Legends, Unleashed. Which one you want to open? What packs do you think are in them? Like name a booster box. You want to go
Are there
Triumphant?
GI Joe packs in there, PK?
Yes. We don't listen.
We've been duped.
I ask Rattle Pokemon all the time. I say, Rattle Pokemon, I need your professional opinion.
Has this been
Is this
resealed?
blister pack resealed? Rattle Pokemon need professional opinion because I personally cannot see anything wrong with this.
That's fabulous. That's so good.
But I just keep digging my grave deeper.
Hey,
All right,
listen.
the chat's going on tonight. I appreciate the chat.
What's up, chat?
Let's see. So Fresh Tat says this is not healthy for the hobby for the losers that couldn't get the promo. I mean,
We
I
all
was one of
take our
those
L's,
losers.
man.
Yeah.
We all take them.
So Class A12 says, I was able to cart 2 sleeves, then go back and cart 2 more sleeves. Good for you, man. Then check out. I definitely say that was the play. Did you get the cart the Eevee sleeves, the Snorlax sleeves, or the Pikachu sleeves?
So he cut back to the House of Pain and won.
Yeah.
You were touched on that earlier, not to go back and recard stuff. Like you never cut back to the House of Pain. Like you just buy.
Well, I talked about it as Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like I gotta go back. I gotta get Bubba.
Dude, that was
Bubba.
Dude, I laughed so hard. I gotta
like
find
Lieutenant
Bubba.
Lieutenant Dan's holding Forrest. He's like, "What are you doing? I'm about to napalm this whole area." And he's like, "I gotta save Bubba." That's what freaking everyone that went back to recart shit. They were doing the Forrest Gump scene. They were maniacs. And I saw people
man.
like, "Oh, I couldn't recart stuff." It's like, what are you doing? I gotta save Bubba. That's what I was reading. People write in.
Shrimp cocktail and shrimp jumbo. You're doing it all, man.
Bubba knew everything there was to know about shrimp.
Yep.
That's what I was reading in Discords today. Just a bunch of people talking about shrimp. I was like, okay.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so good.
I gave Bubba's mama shit. Like that's what I was reading. People right in the chat. I'm just like, these guys are maniacs.
Oh, that's great.
Oh God. But see, this is the best part. There's a bunch of people out there have no freaking clue about Forrest Gump. So they're just
how do you not know about Forrest Gump? Everyone, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Tomorrow's a Saturday. You got nothing better to do. Watch Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Forrest Gump is just one of those. There's a few movies that are just packed with one-liners. Forrest Gump has like it's just one-liners, like one after another. All right. Good. Beerski. This is a great chat, man.
PK, this was fantastic. This is great.
I cannot thank you enough, dude. I hope we get to see a lot more of you in the coming future, man.
I'm here to stay, dude. I feel really, really good about all of this and like how all of this is. And I want to be in this for the long run. I want to see where this takes me in life. Like I don't expect to be anything great. If this is just a hobby for me where I get to interact with all of these cards and see cool cards and do stuff, I'm in it. Like this has been a cool ride the past 2 years, 3 years. And like especially this past year, and I'm not hopping off that train. I'm stoking that fire with coal. I'm freaking pushing that thing to the limit. Like, let's go.
I think you're just scratching at the door right now, man. I think you got a huge future in this hobby. And one of the things I mentioned earlier on this live and I mentioned on previous lives is I'm really trying to showcase people in this hobby that I think are absolute net positives, are great people in this hobby. And honestly, man, when I wanted to do like really push this series forwards, like you were the first name that came to mind after Charlotte Collecticon, and I'm like, all right, Beerski's one of the good ones. So what I'm going to do right now for everybody out there, I'm going to copy Beerski's Instagram, give him a follow. Let's watch his.
Thanks, PK.
Let's watch, and also in the description of this video, if you guys are watching this after the fact and you can't see the live chat, there's also a link for Beerski's Instagram. Give him a subscribe, like give him a follow, and it's gonna be fun, man. I want to be a fly on the wall and watch your growth in this hobby because I think you got a big future ahead of you.
Hey, thanks, PK. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And so for everybody else out there, this is the thing. It's going to be really tough because old Dan Catch'em Collectibles off the clock. Maybe we could get Dan Catch'em Collectibles in the Rattle Discord. And
he's on the clock right now. He's working nights now.
Oh, Dan, you are on. Dan, this is
he's on the clock.
This is billable time. Maybe we could get Dan Catch'em Collectibles in the Rattle Discord. Beerski's going to be opening up a booster box of Scarlet and Violet base. I'll be opening some stuff, doing some degen stuff. Maybe I'll resale this Mario 3 in front of all you guys, and then I could open it again. And
let's do it. Watch more people throw open their mouths.
Just keep reopening stuff. But yeah, so as soon as this is over, we'll be hopping in there. But yeah, guys, if you guys, hopefully everybody's in the Rattle Discord. If they're not, let me post a link for that in the chat right now. Gotta open up Discord. Oh my God, I'm
yeah, I gotta open up the two. Doing it right now.
Yeah, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to run upstairs because I'm all out of beers too. That's one of the reasons we had to end this chat as well. But
I got a whole. If I could send one through the freaking monitor to you, I would.
No, I got to go upstairs to get more, and then we're going to be in there. We're going to be doing degen stuff. I hope a lot of you guys could join. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we get to see Mr. Rattle Pokemon if he's still alive. Maybe he's alive. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways. Beerski, again, man, appreciate you, dude.
Thank you,
dude. I feel super grateful to be able to call you my friend, and
I feel the same way.
Friendship
PK.
We got to make.
Hell yeah, dude! Absolutely, you're one of the good ones, my dude.
This isn't gonna be the last time you're on this channel, man.
Oh, I hope not. I want to come back.
The first time.
I love it.
Maybe we'll bring you on a couple months. We'll see where your growth is, and we'll touch base. And I'm super excited to watch you grow in this hobby, man. But for everybody else out there, I know I could speak for myself, and I know I could speak for Beerski. Guys, we appreciate every single one of you guys that tuned into this video. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be making this video in the first place. But with that said, again, appreciate every single one of you, and we'll catch you on the next video.